Go ahead.
I have a question. One of the things I like most about your playing is your use of outside notes.
Ah.
Could you elaborate a little bit about how you think or concepts you use to produce those notes, like superimposing, or what kind of skills?
Yeah, it's I can try. It's when I hear guys that are really good at that, and it's usually sax players and keyboard players. I have tried to get in the mindset of what that is, because it wasn't until later that I even started to like that. When I was younger and I would hear that, I'd think, why are they playing wrong notes? That sounds wrong. Don't play that. But now I get it and I really love it. And I don't have any particular method of doing it. I probably started off with, just sort of the typical experimenting with melodic minor. Instead of like a regular minor scale. But then I started recognizing that the guys that do it that I really like are just people who are just creating tension. It's just tension release in any way that you can get it. And so obviously one of the easiest ways to do it is to just step outside by moving, seeing a familiar shape and moving either down or up a half step, and sort of continuing your idea, and then trying to resolve resolve some place where it feels right. But I don't have a particular way of doing it. I like the way John Scofield does it. John Scofield is one of my favorite guitar players, particularly for that type of thing. Holdsworth, of course, I don't know what, he's from another planet, and he just has his own. He has notes that don't exist on my fretboard, so I can't play outside that way. But those kind of things. Then maybe I'll just go up a half step during the middle of it. So like something like this would be typical of me. I got like, so I just sort of stepped in and stepped out and stepped back in. It's easier to do it with music because it honestly also depends on the feel of the song. It depends on the way the tempo is. I'll just play a little bit and see. We'll see what happens. Wish me luck, please. So yeah, when I would practice this stuff, in my younger days, it would just be, at first, just sort of practicing over a single static chord band. And just trying things, just trying like that. I'm in A minor. And I like this. If I like that. Shapes that I see are based on arpeggios. So when I see the fretboard, if someone says a key or a mode, or someone says C dominant seventh, then I see the fretboard light up from the perspective of the parent key's chord scale, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. I don't like to be technical because I don't think technical on it, but that is how I'm thinking. So if I know that C7 could be related to, say, F major, then the F major chord scale lights up, and I see those chords, but in the form of arpeggios, and it becomes very useful because in the old days, really playing a 7-note scale, you're not ever emphasizing anything. There's no emphasis on a color tone or a chord extension tone. But with arpeggios, I can be a lot more selective about the 7th arpeggio that's 2 frets down, which is really the same thing as a minor third above. And I can see that. And then what really started to happen over the years is I would just modify the arpeggio into licks. So like instead of just going, like that, I might go. So that the superimposed tonal quality is retained, but you're not just playing, just an arpeggio. You're playing some kind of lick. So that I do tend to see the fretboard in that way today, which for me is just, it really, if you have my first album and you have the Introspection album, which is my second instrumental album, you'll probably notice there is a difference approach-wise, harmony-wise. There's just there's a fundamental difference where I had sort of discovered superimposition, or really understood what that meant. Prior to that, it was kind of like arpeggios meant nothing except a way to shred, right? It was all like just a way to sound cool. But then I started going back and listening to jazz players, and I noticed, wow, Yngwie didn't invent arpeggios. They've been around forever, except that, instead of playing A minor over A minor, they might be playing, right, or notes that are complementing the chord and producing bigger sounds to get, just like if you had two guys playing different chords together. So that's the way I think. That's my weird way of thinking.
Thank you.
Anyway, so I'm going to play one more, and then we'll hang out and do photos or whatever you guys want to do.